Yo, today I wanted to talk about how it's hard to find good food nowadays. And I'm not just saying the restaurants, okay? I'm saying wherever you go, people, in general, everybody really has been brainwashed into eating bad food. And I'm not trying to go full on goaties here and be like, or raw, primal, or whatever, and be like, we should all eat raw meat and that's it. Even though I see benefits in that, okay? Especially raw dairy, okay? Raw dairy, yeah. Raw meat is more so, I mean, it's not that much better than regular meat. It's just that it has less of the bad stuff that comes from cooking. So AGEs and stuff like that. And you got some more B vitamins and stuff like that. But if you eat your steak medium rare or, whatever, you'll get them anyways. And even if you cook, like ground beef or something like that, you'll get the vitamins anyways. I don't know if you can tell, I'm breathing a bit hard because maybe I shouldn't have started the video immediately after doing, I like when I don't go to the gym, I do some pull-ups, some push-ups, some squats, body weight. But it does get your heart pumping a little bit. Like I do like 15 of each and then some 15 leg raises too, which is not a lot, but it gets, your body pumping a little bit. And I literally just did that like 20 seconds ago. So note to myself, I should probably not do that. But yeah, it's hard to find good food, okay? I'm not saying, I'm not saying that, you go to a friend's house or whatever. You're not supposed to like think of, I'm supposed to have raw dairy and raw meat or just meat. No, or raw dairy or raw meat in, at the party or whatever. Obviously, you're not gonna have that. But why don't we barely have meat? Okay, and when we do, it's like the lowest quality chicken ever. It's like fried chicken or some BS, okay? And we just have a bunch of bread, gluten, and things like that. Like, why can't we have, some fruit? Why can't we have, some good stuff? I also want to talk about, like, in general, the whole idea of cooking, of, stuff like that to make it taste good. I want you to realize this, maybe you don't know, but for the most part, this whole industry is dumb. Because in reality, what are you doing when you're trying to make the food taste better? You're adding more poisons to it, okay? Again, you might think I'm going full on goatees mode, but as I said, I'm not saying we need to have raw stuff, but come on, like, you know how hard it is to find food at the restaurant without seed oils, without, like, why can't we cook in butter? Like, whoa, what's so hard about that? We're putting oils in everything. Like, I just got some soup that one of my family members made me, and I brought it home because I got a lot of soup, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it home. Okay, fine. But like, I cannot eat this, bro. Because this will take like, I don't know, 3-4 days. It's a lot of soup, okay? This will take like 3-4 days for me to finish. And I can see the oil in the soup, okay? Besides all the vegetables, okay? I'm not a fan of vegetables, but like at least they do like short-term damage. Oil literally remains in your body for years, okay? And it's super bad because it also inflames you. I'm talking about specifically more so seed oils and especially like cooked seed oils, okay? So yeah, if you drink olive oil like cold, even though I don't think it's the best, it's, kind of neutral, especially if you get from a good source like real Italian olive oil or something like that, okay? Bio, organic, and all that good stuff, right? Cold pressed, in a glass bottle, good brand too. That's not as bad. Still, I don't really see the point in that. Like, just cook with butter and olive oil by itself doesn't really have that many properties. Okay. So as I said, like when you add things when you cook, you're just adding more poisons because in reality, the less the food has, the healthier it is if it's actually a good food source. Of course, if you're gonna eat broccoli, you're gonna have to put a bunch of stuff in it. I remember when I used to eat spinach, I couldn't eat it without like a couple of eggs next to my plate because like I couldn't tolerate it tasted horrible, okay? So I had to mask the taste with eggs, okay? That's the same thing with cooking. Adding spices and all that, it makes it taste better, but it tastes better because it's literally like those things are artificially made, or maybe not artificial, but still not really natural to humans that a regular human should have in their diet, at least not frequently. That's why they taste so good, okay? In most cases, if the food tastes raw, it's probably healthy, okay? And don't quote me on that, because might be some very unhealthy things that taste very good raw. But there's a reason most vegetables do not taste, they have a horrible taste. There's a reason, okay? But I was not necessarily talking about vegetables. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll eat a little bit of lettuce or whatever. At the end of the day, it's just some oxalates and something like that. Like my body will just dump. Maybe it just damages my body for like, I don't know, a week at most or something like that. But seed oils get in your body, and your body is literally, don't quote me on this, but seed oils get in your body and you just end up kind of being part of them somewhat. They're a part of you, kind of. That's why you burn in the sun. That's why you get all the problems that you have. And then they take years to dump from your body, okay? So it's an uphill battle, really, okay? Like, you could think, oh, maybe there are some vegans who think that they're healthy and they're like, oh, it's so hard to be a vegan. I go to the restaurant and there's only 3 things on the menu I can get. Oh no. But if you actually know about like health, there are some restaurants that literally have nothing. You gotta pick the least harmful thing in the menu. And okay, I'm sometimes, I'm like, I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do and just well, I'm speaking like that kid. Like, have you ever had a dream that you no, I was thinking that I just said the F word, and I gotta stop thinking about that. This is like the third or fourth video I'm making about that kind of thing. But when you actually know about health and you have a good diet yourself, you realize that when you go to a restaurant, you're like, oh, there's nothing really good. You kind of have to take the least harmful thing. And yeah, sometimes I'm like that too. I'm like, you only live once, like, come on, like a little, some seed oils are not gonna crush me. And they're not, okay? I'm not saying that you eat once and it's over. No real thing really happens to you if you do it once, unless you know, other things that are not family friendly to say. But for the most part, when you eat something or you exercise or you do things like that, doing it once won't really add up to anything. You know, you solve a math problem, you're not a mathematician. You went to the gym once, you're not a bodybuilder. You ate a salad once, which even though salad is not healthy, but I'm just saying, so you get the point. You eat a salad once, you're not healthy. Likewise, you eat at McDonald's one day, you're not going to be unhealthy, okay? It's the things that compound. But still, it's kind of the same thing. You should also think it like this. Okay, you wouldn't take poison once. Like, oh, sometimes it's fine to take poison. Like that's kind of how you should think. I'm not saying to have a eating disorder. I'm not saying to, like, obviously, if you don't have anything to eat, get like the least harmful thing, or just get anything, to be honest, because it's not that big of a deal. Like all these things, in reality, they're not all that big of a deal, okay? Really. Like there are people who eat at McDonald's every day, or not every day, but maybe every week, and they're perfectly healthy, they're perfectly fine, okay? So, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to be, healthy, as healthy as you can be, it's hard to go to the restaurant or even go to a party and be like, I don't have nothing to eat. Like, I gotta compensate every time. I gotta, oh man, I guess I'll eat this fried chicken or whatever. At that point, probably eating like vegetable is better. Actually, most likely. Then again, parties don't really have vegetables either, for a reason, because they don't taste good, okay? And why don't they taste good? Because they're not healthy, okay? I'm going in circles here, but I'm trying to emphasize the point. Why is the manipulation so bad that people are like, oh, soup without vegetables doesn't exist? What? Oh, ice cream without sugar doesn't exist. When people do this, because people do this with damn near every dish, okay? For everything, they have to put something bad. You can't have steak you can't have steak without also having, like, I don't know, tell me one bad thing. Lettuce next to it or something like that. Okay, that doesn't really matter. You can just not eat it or whatever. But still, I mean, even that is like, well, when you have it next to your plate and it's got, because when they put lettuce, they don't just put it raw like that. They put like some sauces. It's going to taste good, So it's hard, okay, to not eat it. You can have, yeah, I think you get the point. It's like people cannot comprehend making food without having to put something bad next to it. They always have to ruin it. I'm not saying to eat raw ice cream, even though that's amazing. That tastes so good. But like, why are we having ice cream and you're putting sugar in my ice cream? Why can't I just have, normal stuff? Why can't I have some like fruit or something like that if I want to make it taste sweeter? Why do we always have to go back to the toxic things, okay? It makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense, but it's probably because it's easier, nobody's going to cut oranges for a living. Like they're not, the restaurants are not going to pay someone to cut oranges for a living. They're just going to buy a whole bunch of sugar and that's it, It's way easier on them to profit and stuff like that. But even like home things, like people, I don't know, like it's your grandma made you cake or something like that, or whatever, and she had to have put something in there, flour, bullshit, like like my grandma makes, like, her food is so good, but like I know that it's so good for a reason, and even the most basic stuff like mashed potatoes, they taste way better than when I made them, But it's not like she got some secret potatoes. No, she's putting like things in there, which is, it sucks because it's like I want to enjoy this food, but I'm like, why are you making it tastes artificial? Like, just because it's the norm to add this to the cake, and I add this to the soup, and I add this to, like, no. Why can't we look at that's what I don't understand. Like, a lot of dietitians also are like so bad, which that's another topic in of itself. But like, how could you recommend a food and know that it's not, look at it like, people are like, eat vegetables. That's so vague. Because some vegetables could, really damage you in a very short amount of time. Okay? Actually, most of them will damage you in a short amount of time if you eat them frequently and a lot. Meanwhile, there are some good vegetables still, like carrots, okay? So you need to be nuanced. You need to look at every food group. Like how there are bad meat sources, there are good vegetables, okay? But I don't know why I'm talking about that. The thing is, it's so hard to find good food, whether you're going to a restaurant or you're going to a friend's house, okay? It's always the same stuff that is unhealthy, not because the healthy versions taste bad, okay? Because for the most part, like, the healthy versions of these foods are like, aka the raw versions, basically, maybe with just salt or something like that. They taste fine, but people, for some reason, just artificially, they're just bored, bro. Because when I used to cook and make recipes, I was following a guy. I think his name is now Life by Mike G. I don't remember what his name was before then, but I used to follow his recipes to a T, and it took me like so long to make them. And I was like, oh, it's worth it because they taste so good, but like, we're so unhealthy, and he still makes very unhealthy meals, okay? Do not follow that guy's recipes. Matter of fact, you shouldn't really follow any chef's recipes, because chefs are just, like, as I said, the whole industry is basically a scam. It's just making food that is either unhealthy or healthy, and making it unhealthy, okay? Whether it's healthy from the beginning or unhealthy from the beginning, the end result is still gonna be unhealthy for the most part. Like, that's why, I cannot look at chefs the same. I used to want to become a chef, but now I'm like, the healthiest thing for them to eat is literally just, what do I do? Do I just take the meat out of the box and just cut it and give them like that? Like, that's literally the healthiest thing. The more you do to the food, the less healthy it is, okay? So, why can't we have just good food, Because it's easy to have good food, as I said. People are just bored, and they like to make cakes for like 10 hours. Like, I never saw the appeal in that, okay? Like, making actually, I did see the appeal in that, but now realizing how bad that actually is, because at first you brainwash yourself. Yeah, I'm making all this, but I'm cooking my own food, so it's healthy, right? No, no, actually no. Okay, so it's just some food for thought. I thought I'd share this, okay? And yeah,